Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on this session, which is part of the Power BI series. I'm so excited to having you all here with us. My name is Hassam Mohsina, and I look at the reactor in the Middle East and Africa, leading the program here. And in this series, it's an 8-part series that we started a couple of weeks ago, looking at the different parts of your journey in Power BI. I'm bringing here with me on the stage David Abu, who is the cloud advocate, part of Microsoft's cloud advocacy team. And he's going to tell us a little bit maybe more about this series. Hi, David. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Usam. Thank you. Thanks, partnership. We're happy that we can do this. So the Power BI series is about we helping people understand Power BI and also data analysis or analytics using Power BI. Power BI is one of is the leader when it comes to business intelligence and visualization tool across the world, and we're trying to improve the rate of adoption of Power BI and also build a community around it. And and the partnership with Microsoft Reactor is one of the ways in which we are trying to drive the knowledge of Power BI across Africa and globally.
Awesome. Well, excited about this partnership. We have seen hundreds of people joining us throughout the past few sessions that we have done. And we have Michael here joining us today. Michael, I'm adding you to the stream. Thank you for joining us. Tell us more about what's going to happen on today's session.
Oh, we can't hear you, Michael. Can you check if you are on mute? Hello, Michael. Guess it's network. It happens like that. So majorly, one of the things that we'll be learning today has to do with the transformation of data. We want to look at data set and say, okay, how do we transform data sets? How do you clean it? And inside of Power BI is an embedded tool. It's called Power Query, and we call it an ETL tool, which is used for transforming data sets. If you have watched the first video or the second video, you have understood what Power Query is. But now we'll be going in depth into the transformation of those tools. While we wait for Michael to come in because of his technical issues, we're going to be looking at that. And also is that for those who are watching, and this weekend I know that globally there will be a conference all over the world, and it's called the Global Power Platform Bootcamp all over the world. In Nigeria, we have over 7 locations that will be happening. If you're in Lagos, if you're in Port Harcourt, if you're in Edo State, if you're in Oyo State, if you're in Osun State, if you're in Ekiti, if you're in Ilorin, which is Kwara State, you'll be having opportunity to meet people physically and to be able to network and understand what the Power Platform as a whole. And it's going to be a really great event. We are expecting over 700 to 1,000 people in Lagos alone. So that is a very, very big number. So if you're in Lagos, please, if you can see maybe my Twitter handle or my LinkedIn handle, you should be
Can you
able to
see me
get more
now?
information about it. Oh, good, Michael, we can see you.
Apologies, it's my feedback. I have an inverter and then I have the mains, so it flipped, so it disconnected me for a while. But
It's fine.
so okay, the question was to talk about today's topic. So today's topic is on transforming data with Power Query, and I have here something really interesting. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, so before we begin, I would like to draw everyone's attention to just the code of conduct, basically, where uh, following the code of conduct, this is a Microsoft event. So in short, these different 6 points are saying that let's keep this environment friendly for everyone. We're all here to learn. So let's be aware of each other, friendly and patient, and welcoming and respectful, open to all viewpoints and questions, and understanding of each other's differences, and kind and considerate to others at all time. And as David mentioned, there is a global event happening on this weekend, which we'll be adding, by the way, also to the calendar so that you can join the Power Platform Bootcamp. We're excited to have that also happening across the Middle East and Africa. So, Michael, I'm going to give you the stage now.
Okay.
Please start sharing your screen and we can begin today's session. While we're
Okay.
here, also, everyone, let us know where you are joining us from in the chat. We are going to constantly look at the chat, look at the questions, answer these, since we are doing this as a live session as well. So please leverage that. Ask Michael as many questions as you wish.
Okay. So thank you. So I'm sharing my screen right now, and great. So I hope you all see my screen. Let me see if I can drag the way I'm going to monitor from to another screen, so it makes it easier, and I can be able to see your questions. Okay, so this is what we're going to do today. If you look at my screen, you're going to notice that I have something already done. So I've created a company called Reactor Pizza Inc. I hope what we kind of face every day, and then show you how to use Power Query to solve, most of these common problems. And the good thing is that, well, there are more than one way to solve things. So there are some that you probably already solve using DAX, and then you find out that, oh, there's a Power Query way. So let's get into it. I'm going to take this away so that you okay. And I need to see the comments. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just minimize this. Then I'm going to open an empty Power BI. Okay. Thank you to everyone who I'm seeing all your messages. So I can see messages from Frala, Akin Rutomo, Omolasho. I see a lot of your messages from YouTube, from all the platforms. Thank you for joining. Lagos, Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. Awesome. So I see a lot of my people in the house. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to bring in the data, but let me show you what it looks like so that you have an idea. This. So this is for a sales company, right? And when I open the data, you will see there are basically three data sets. One, the collating the sales made daily, which is very common in every organization. They have a table that contains the transactions. And then another one is collating, has already collated the targets already set ahead. So again, it's common for companies to have targets given by region, by month, by year. So let me show you the files. So this file here, the sales target, has the targets, okay? And I hope you see my screen clearly. So has the targets. I'm going to maybe zoom so that it becomes a bit bigger. Has the targets by month, by branch, by the products, right? So that's what are in here. Okay, and then some other information. This is the country name. So this organization, obviously Microsoft Reactor, operates across the world. So this is their Nigeria operations, right? Good. Then I'm going to go to the other table. So this has just the information around the branches. So each branch in Nigeria has a branch manager, right? So we might decide to do a report that is, evaluating the performance of each branch manager. And the biggest of them all is this transaction table, which details the transactions, the ID, the date, the branch, the product sold, the unit price, the quantity, so we are going to see how we will make this useful for our transformation. I mean, for the report we need to build. Again, for those just joining me, the report we're going to build will have this functionality. We look very closely like this. Might be slight differences, but when we are done, it should be able to show this level of details. You should see total sales, year, quarter, month, by branch. Have some target against actual. So I'm going to minimize this, and then I'll go to the empty one, and then I'll bring in the files. So I bring in the branch one. I do transform because I want to do all my work in Power Query. So I'm telling it to just go straight to Power Query by hitting the transform. Let me make this bigger. So I hope this is big enough. I'm going to, from here, also bring in more. I'll bring in the other two. So the sales targets, I'll do likewise in terms of ticking here that yes, this is what I want to bring in. Then I bring it in. And again, I go here, I go and bring in the sales data itself. And so now I've brought the three data sets. Then let's start with what we want to do. So I'm going to use a problem solution approach. First of all, I look at each table and try to fix the obvious issues. So if you look at this table, I don't see anything wrong. Country is Nigeria, branch is ABC. These are text. These are all properly showing. So I won't do anything here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, for those complaining about their playback, select a higher resolution on your. If you're using Facebook and YouTube, you'll be able to see where to set the resolution higher. Okay, just wanted to announce that because I see that the admin has messaged that. So in case you think this is looking too blurry, that's what you need to do on your playback on where you are viewing this session from. So I go to the sales target, right? And if you look at sales target, I'm seeing some obvious issues, right? It's proper if these years are showing correctly instead of null. So this is the old 2018, and it's showing null right until it gets to another year, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to tell it to fill down. So there is this function called fill down. And once I do that, it will properly, fill in the year across the rows in that field. So it understands that 2018 applies all the way till it gets to 2019. And then from 2019, it begins to also apply it downwards. So are you seeing that happening? Then I'm going to also do likewise for this. So I'm going to again come here, do fill down. So this is a very useful function when you have situations where things are skipped, January, then blank blank until February, then blank 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 until March. You want to fill down. So let's see what other common issues, what other obvious issues are here. So if I look at this, I can see that actually I need this country to come as its own column. Okay, so I think maybe I should have done that before the fill down to make things easier to. So I'm going to just go up here. So you can step between your steps, So I'm going to go up to where I can be able to access this. So I need this information, right, to be extracted separately. So I'm going to right click on it. When I right click, I get it. Let me right click again. Right click. So you can see these options come up. I'm right clicking on the very field. I'm not right clicking on the column. I'm right clicking on just one field, Nigeria in this case. and I see these options, I'm going to say add as new query. So what it will do is it's going to pop up a new query and instantly, show me what's inside, how I'm going to reference this. So I'm going to copy this because I just need this information, and I'm going to come back to the sales target and say, okay, right now I want to create a new column. I want to add a new column. So I'm adding a new column. I'm going to say custom column. And then once I pick custom column, I'm going to say country. And then I'm going to go here and pop that in there. And so what I've done is I've picked what Power Query has generated for me as the address of that particular record, right? And I'm trying to create a new column that will reflect that address throughout the record. So that's what I've done. Country as a column, let it reference to that particular record, and I'm clicking OK, right? And you see, that's how you can fish out exactly the record you want to make to populate across. In this case, I want country to be reflected as Nigeria because that's also important. So with that, I think I'm going to need to remove the things that are not needed. So obviously, I think this should be in the first, should be closer to the beginning so I can move it. So you see, there's a lot I can do by just right clicking. That's the amazing thing about Power Query. So I right click, I see a lot of options. I go to move. I'm going to say move to the beginning. Okay, so by doing that, I have this showing right here. And then what other thing am I going to do? I'm going to say I do not need this and I do not need this. So I'm going to remove these columns. So again, let me zoom. I right click. No, first of all, I select the two columns. One, hold shift key. The second one, I right click and then I say remove column. So this is another very interesting thing to feature in Power Query, the ability to remove what you do not need. Okay, so now I know that my targets are by products, right? So it would be nicer if the products are showing in one column, right? Rather than them showing as separate columns. So what do I need to do? I need to further flatten this table. So what I'm going to do is to have a column that will be product and the target will be showing in front of it as another column. So to do that, I'm going to select all of my products. So I select the first product, I shift scroll to the last product and click. So that selects all of them for me. I can right click, but just to show you that also too, I can go to transform and you will see on pivot columns. So if you pick on pivot columns, it's going to flatten those records. I'm going to have pizza, which is the column here, all together rather than across different fields. And then I'm going to have the sales target. So I'm renaming these as sales targets. Okay. And then I'm going to carry on. So I'm looking at this to be sure if there are other things that needs to be done here. Okay, yes. So there's something also obvious. I have year, I have date, right? Will it not be nice to also have? I will need to have the dates. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to merge. I'm going to select these two. I'm going to go to add column, and I'm going to say I want to merge the columns. And then I'm going to say I want the separator to be a hyphen. A hyphen is going to work really nice. So custom hyphen, and I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it dates. Okay, it's going to complain. I've called this dates. Anyway, I'll rename it anyway. So I'm going to just say, okay. So it's going to complain that there's already a date and automatically prefix this with 1. So not a problem. I'm going to rename this to be month because this is actually month. And so again, what am I showing? I'm showing you the ability to merge. So that's the key takeaway from the step I just did. I can select two fields and merge them. So I've merged these two fields, right? What did I do? I went here to add column and you see merged. So now that I've merged them, I'll rightly want Power Query to know that this is I need it to be formatted as a date, right? So I'm going to come here and say I want this to display as dates, and it will always just pick the first day of the month since I do not have day in my merged cell. So I just have month and and here it will just automatically pick the day as one. So that's good enough for me too. It's not bad. Then I'm going to move on. There are other things I will do, but I don't want to be too ahead. So I want us to see the problem, come back and fix, right? So that you find this enjoyable. So I'm already having these same issues. Okay. I can see Omolasho is asking, is there a special time for Q&A? You can drop your questions, and I can see Parley's question. Is it not better to read the null from column A using a filter? Column A. No, no, no. I'm not going to. I need those figures. If I remove null, it's going to delete those records. So no, no, no. I think what you are saying is when I was working on this and we were here and these were nulls, you say I should come here and remove null. No, if I do that, I'm going to lose all those records, which is not the problem. The null is not that I need to remove the records, it's that the year should, you know, should fill down, which is why I needed to fill down. So thank you for your questions. Like I'm answering Omolaso now. You can ask your questions right there in the chat box. I'm going to see them and I'm going to, read them and answer. So let's go on. I'm going to also do like I've done before. I need this. I need this Nigeria extracted out as a separate query so that I can use it. So I can just come here, pick this, then go back here and say I need to fix some other things before I use that. I need to promote. I need to use first row as header. So I'm going to go here and use first row as header. Okay, good. Then what next? I'm going to. Okay, so I think I'll just remove these ones. These ones have nothing to do. So I'm going to remove them. So I right click and I do remove columns, right? And then what next? I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to say this is time. Obviously, this is, yeah, this is time. I'm just surprised why, oh, okay, now I know I have time. So this is time anyway. And this is dates. So I have dates separate, I have time separate. Then I'm going to create a new column. So Omolasho, I see your question. When you load data into Power Query, what do you look out for in order to clean the data? You will obviously know some. It's not everything you will see instantly. That's why you will see as I go on that I will face some issues that will make me come back here, right? But then there are some common issues that the more you work with data, you once you see them, you know that's an issue and you need to fix them, right? If I have things that are joined together, imagine I have the employee name and the employee ID together in one column. I'm instantly going to know that that's a problem, right? I would rather prefer to have employee ID separate and the name separate. So there are some things that once you look at your data, you instantly know that that needs to be cleaned. So there's no clear-cut answer in terms of you knowing all the clean. But as you are building your report, you begin to see that some things will not work. Some analysis will not be able to show if you don't do some kind of transformations. So you will see as I go on that even though I'm doing some transformation right now because I know I need them, as I go on, I will still find some problems that I will encounter. And for me to solve those problems, I will need to come back again to do some transformations. So just follow along. It's a journey. So let's go gradually. I'm going to add a column. And again, I'm going to say country. I'm going to paste what I had copied earlier. And like you already expect, it's going to pop in here, Nigeria again throughout. So I'm going to say this is a text. So you see, I'm saying this is a text, right? I'm going to move this again. So move to the beginning. Okay, Shiv Mantra, you say you just learned to use column quality to check my data. Yeah, that's good by itself, It just shows you how many blanks and all. So it's not, it's good, it's not, but it's not, there's nothing too big deal about it. Let me use that word because it's not going to fix the problem if it's there. And sometimes that there are nulls in a place doesn't really mean that it's a problem in itself. If a particular, let me see what could have nulls in this place now. If there's a sale that was not attached to a branch, then it's going to show null in this branch, right? That's not a problem in itself. It just means that there was no branch allocated to it. It's not a case of if you think that's an error, then you take this up and you know do a print screen and go show to someone up the data stream, the person maybe configure the DB or to the business people and tell them that maybe they should make the field for branch compulsory when people are filling. But it doesn't fix the data for you. It just shows you, and that's all it does. So I'm going to. Okay, good. So I'm just looking at this. Is there any other issues? So let's say I think there are no issues, right? I'm going to delete these ones. So if you look, I don't need them because I only wanted to use them to get those the country. So now that I have that, I don't need. I'm going to go to close and apply. So I'm doing close and apply. And if you remember, there's a report we are trying to build, right? This is the report we are trying to build, right? So we will see how we will face problems that we will have to go back to do some more transformation. So just wait for it. This will soon be done. Okay, so I'm going to say, okay, I want to build my report. Novice, I just want to get to building my report, right? So I kind of get the logo. So I go to insert. I have the logo somewhere. I say, yes, I'm really, really pumped up. I'm going to build the finest report possible, right? So I have this showing here. I say, yes, I want to put the logo, right here. I want it to be obvious that we have a company that is into pizza, so I'm going to say Reactor Pizza Inc. sales reports. Okay, I'm going to make this bold, give it a very nice font. Nice is relative, huh? Let's use Kandara. Make it bigger and make it centralized, and then make it okay. So this is not bad. I'm going to drag it and put it up here. Okay, so what do I want to do? I would like to allow you that are using the report, whoever is using my report, right, to be able to pick the year, pick the month, dimension my report by dates, by year, month. So if you look at my tables, right, I have dates, scattered across many different aspects of my data. I have dates in sales data. I have some dates here, and then I have data also in sales target. So which one am I going to use, right? So as you probably have learned, it's recommended that you have a dedicated date table. So how can we create date table? Omolasho, we can't replace the nulls with 0. If you replace the nulls with 0, then it will mean that they are not for 2018. It will just be as if 0 is another year. So it's wrong because if you look at the data, in case you didn't notice the data, this is what the data is. So these are actually 2018. It's not 0. It's not something to be removed. It's not what do I get? So it's a case of where maybe somebody used a pivot to get this out. And in the pivot, there's a way you do pivot table where it just shows, we call it the outline style, where it just shows the upper, shows the first thing and leaves this blank, shows the next thing, leaves this blank, and then does the analysis. So this is not supposed to be made 0. I hope that's clear, right? It's supposed to be 2018 throughout. Okay, so that's why we can't use 0. I hope that's clear. How can I get the data? Yes, you will get the data after the session. I've already shared with the organizer, so they will communicate to us how you get the data. So back to here, we need to have our own dedicated date table, right? So yes, date table. And what most people think of when they're doing date table is, let me go to Power BI itself and go to new table and create a date table, and use DAX to create a date table, put calendar and put start and end date, right? But today is on Power Query. So we're going to use a Power Query way of creating a date table. So are you pumped up for that? So let's quickly go back to Power Query and say I need a date table, right? So I come back here and let me increase the zoom. So I'm going to say that I want to create a blank query, and I'm going to call this blank query dates time. So you see, it gives me a lot of options, but I know what I want. What I want is this datetime.local, then open bracket, close bracket. It's going to give me the date and time, but I need just the date, right? So I can say date from, and then I do that. I'm going to get the dates out of that. So because I need a date table, so this is not a table, obviously, right? Uh, so Freshwood is asking, do you have any suggestions when to use DAX and when to use That's a very tricky one. My answer is no. Use the one you're more comfortable with. But some people say for performance sakes, some things are better on the dark, some people are better on the Power Query. What I can tell you is that, well, whatever you do on the Power Query side, will have control over what enters into your model. So sometimes if it's things that needs to limit the amount of data that needs to flow into your model, is you just have to do it in the Power Query side. Maybe you want to filter out some things. You want to just get a section of your data so you don't have a model that is now just too big. So that has to happen in Power Query. No, no competition around that. There's no controversy. But then when it comes to just some common transformations that is not going to lead to some more bigger size in one versus the other, I don't like to get into the argument. So I would say just use the one you're comfortable with. Okay. But the rule of thumb is things that need to happen further up in your query, because what you do in Power Query affects how your data is going to be pulled into the Power BI. So if you need some things to happen at that level, then obviously it must be in the Power Query. All right, so now that I've said that, I'm going to convert this to a table, right? So you can see it, I'm converting to a table. So I'm going to now rename my table to date table. Date table. Then I'm going to say this is obviously the start. No, this will be the end date, today's date, right? End date. I need the start date. So if I go to my data is starting from what? Okay, so I have my data starting from 1st of January 2018. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to just, again, I like to leverage the tools here. So I'm going to do add column. Yes, I can type this, but I also know that I can do it easier and just say start dates and type the date. Type it even as a text, 2018, January 0101. You can mix it this way too, right? So now that I've done this, right, I need to just come here and say, this should be format, this should be a date format, and that's it, right? So now that I've done this, what I actually really need is a list of dates from year to year, or let me rearrange it, from year to year, right? So how do I do this? Very easy. I'm going to add another column. So I'm going to add another column. I'm going to call it dates. So this will be my actual dates, right? And then this is where you might need to be familiar with this syntax of creating a list, because I'm actually creating a list. So this is how we create a list, these curly brackets. And then I'm going to say I need number from start dates, close the bracket. I need it to go to, so two dots makes it like start from that start to this end in increments of one, right? So again, number from, the reason I need to get the number from it is that actually dates at the back end are numbers. If you're familiar with Excel, you will know this. So I'm just leveraging that functionality. So number from end date, I'm closing this bracket, right? So if you ask me, this is it. I can see it's telling me I have not made any syntax errors. So hopefully this should work. Good. And I can see that I'm getting a list. And I can see that I have stuffs in the list. So what will I do next? I'm going to tell it to expand my list. So expand this to new rows. So awesome, right? So right now, I'll just say this is the date that I'm actually looking for. So I'm going to make this date. Voila, this is interesting. I'm going to now say I don't need these two anymore. So I'm going to remove these columns. So now I have dates. But if you look at my original, my goal, I need to get year, I need to get quarter, month, right? So I need to extract more than just the dates, right? I need to extract those other fields. And this is where, if you ask me, Power Query shines better than do you doing a date table in Power BI in the model itself, with DAX, right? So if you come here and I go to add column and you see date, right? I can extract out the year, and so quick, that's done. I can also go back here, say extract out the month, and that is done, right? I'm just going to say this is the month number, but I like to have my month also in Jan, like in 3 letters. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to also extract the quarter. So I go back here, come here, extract out quarter. So now this quarter that I've extracted, right? I want to make it show as quarter one rather than just one, right? So what will I do? I can leverage all the inbuilt functionalities without typing a single line of code. I change this to text so that I'm going to have this option that says these options here now that says not extract, I think it's format. Yeah, so format, and I want to add a prefix. So I'm going to go to prefix and say I want to prefix it with a quarter and space, so it will be quarter one. And okay, I forgot to. I'm going to delete that step because I don't want that to be as a separate column. I want that to happen right on top of this existing column, right? So what I'm going to do, instead of add new column, I go to transform. Make sure that this is happening right on top of the data itself. So that's why I won't be in the add column. It will be transformed. So it transforms this very column. So I go back here, I say add prefix quarter space, and this is done, right? So I need to add more things actually. So I need to add more things. Let me just check if there are any more questions there. Okay, so no more questions. I hope you are following anyway. So I need to add month and year. So I'm going to go to add columns, and then I'm going to say custom column, and I'm going to call this month year. Okay, so this one right now, I'm going to have to write a an M code. So I've got it to the stage where I need to write an M code. So it's not very hard to write. It's just like if you use DAX, it's the equivalent of format, and if you use Excel, it's the equivalent of text. I'm going to format the date as a particular text string, right? So in M, it is you writing date to text, date to text, and then I'm going to pick the date. So I'm picking the dates, then I'm specifying the format it should put it. So I need it to be in 3 letters for the month, then dash 4 letters for the year. Then I want that, right? So I'm going to say that's my month here. I do okay. And you see, this will be a text. Now I need to let this be, I need month also, and I also want to be able to sort this. So I'm going to again add another column. So I'm going to call this year month, and then I'm going to say dates to text, specify the dates, and then this will now be year 4 letters, month 2 letters. If you notice my month, I have to put it in capital M. I don't know why, but that's, if you don't put it in capital, it's not going to work. Okay, so just remember that the month, day is small d's anyway. So it's only the month that needs to be in uppercase. So I do this, I'm going to get that one. I'm going to say this should be numbers because I actually want to use that to sort. Then I'm going to get one more column, which I'm going to call the month itself. The month, so I like my month to be in 3 letter words. It's and MMM. I do okay. All right, so right now I think I need, let's just check. Let me just eyeball it. think I have all I need. Yeah, Monday. Yeah, so I'm good. All right, so with this information, I'm going to now go back here, close and apply, then see if I can create my date table, right? So let me take this out of here. So now I should be able to create a date dimension, right? So date dimension, I'm going to say I need a slicer. Okay, so this slicer, I'm going to drag from the date table. I'm going to drag here, but I want it to be a list. Now you will notice that I'm not following the normal way because I want it to be a bit more. I don't want to do like someone who knows the answer, right? Because to be sincere, you should come here first and do all the relationships, and then maybe any formulas you need to do here before you come and start doing the report. But because this session is just to focus on Power Query, so I want to let you see the problems I'm going to face and say I'm fixing them with Power Query. That's why I'm just going at it this way. Naturally, you should do all your modeling before you start building the report itself. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to copy this, paste, you know, and say I want this to be months. Now, if you see, my month is not arranged in any particular order. Well, it's arranged in an order anyway. It's arranged in ABCD, which does not make sense, right? It should be January, February, right? So what am I going to do? I will pick the month and I will tell it that I want it to be sort by another column, sort by the month number. So that's why I needed to do that month number. So now it's showing correctly, right? Because what I did is I sort it by something else, the month number, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think I also wanted to show quarter, right? So I can copy this, paste, and then quarter, put in quarter here. Okay, so we have the quarter. So I think we have everything we need, right? Let me just take a peek. Yeah, it's quarter. Okay, good. So I have all those date stuff. So I'm going to just position them here because I like to put my dimensioning slicers on the left, or either left or on the upper side of my. Okay. Now, if I put any table, so let's take for instance, I want to analyze sales. The goal is that I should be able to, let me just zoom my screen. I should be able to, drag products to rows. So I see all the products, then drag sales, and you will notice I don't have sales, so that's a problem. I have quantity, I have price, unit price, and I have discount. I have quantity, unit price, and I have discount. I don't have sales amount, so that's a problem, right? Let's go and fix that. So I'm going to go back to Power Query. I'm going to go back to Power Query, and I'm going to write the formula that will create sales out of these three columns, which will be unit price times quantity times sales discount, right? So I'm going to go to add column, add a custom column. I'm going to call it sales amount. Then I'm going to, so this is very easy because it's the same mathematical this times that. So unit price times quantity. So this works also in, Power Query. A lot of people just think everything must be complex in Power Query. No, your normal mathematical operations work. And then I do that, and I'm going to have this. So now I have sales amount. I'll make it decimal. Okay. So now that I have that, I'll go back, load my data. Load the data. So Molasha says he doesn't know what we are trying to achieve. But I've been showing it. This is what we want to rebuild, right? from the data set. This is what we want to recreate. So just follow along. The good thing is on YouTube this day, this video will still be there, so you can always rewatch in case maybe you are distracted while you are watching and you missed one or two things. So now that I have sales amount, now I'm going to say I want that to show. So I want to see the sales. Now you see there's a problem, right? And I also want to see the sales target. So there's a problem. Sales target seems to be computing correctly. My sales is just repeating the figures all across. And anyone wants to guess why? Yeah, Ellis is saying I could have created a measure. Yes, but the title of this session is Power Query. So I'm doing as much as possible with Power Query. So, but you're right, you could have used measure, you could have used DAX. Anybody wants to take a guess? Why do I have sales amount repeating itself? Anybody? Why do I have sales amount repeating itself while sales target is showing correctly? Well, if nobody's helping me out, I'll help myself. The reason is because there's no relationship correctly between my sales data or some I like Roman. He's helping me a lot. There's no relationship between sales data and sales targets. So right now things are just looking haywire. So let's now begin to see how we need to create the relationships correctly. Let's even review what relationships are already there. So if I go to relationship, manage relationship, I'm going to see all the relationships that are there, and I can see and I can evaluate, if they are right or wrong. So let's look at this branch to branch. If I want to be very correct, I will rather let it capture country and branch, because what if we have other countries and there's a branch that has a name in both two, like in two different countries, right? So I would rather want to use something much more unique, right? So I'm not going to let this one hold. I will delete it. Similarly here, I will also delete this one. So we're going to create I'm going to delete this because I want to use a more robust relationship. Then if we try to create a relationship between the sales data and the sales target, now you will see that I'm now in a problem. I'm in a fix. How am I going to, if I pick country and country, I'm going to lose the ability to see by product and see by branch. And the targets are actually by year, month, branch, and pizza. So it's more like country, year, month, branch, pizza. Then there are targets. So I need to create like a key column, something that allows me to relate all of these level of information with that same level of information across here. So I'm going to go back to Power Query and create all these relationships. So I'll go back, those fields. So I'll go back to Power Query. I hope you are learning some cool things in Power Query already. So let's come here and let's start with the sales target, right? So I'm going to say that I want to merge. By the way, let's make this text. I want to merge this with this, with this, with this, with this, so that it becomes like my key, like my reference column, right? So I'm going to go up here, go to add new column, and say I want to merge all those fields. So what do I want to use as the delimiter separator? I prefer to use a hyphen. That's just my personal choice. You can use anything else you like, space or comma. So I'm going to call this the key column, key or reference column. So whatever name you feel more comfortable with. Okay. So now I have that column, right? I'm going to move it to this beginning. I'm going to need to do likewise here. So I'm going to, so to save myself time, I can use this. What do I mean? I can copy what I have here, come over here, right? Create a new column. I can just right click here, add a step. Okay, so and then let me repeat what I did. I came here, I right clicked, and I said add a step, insert step after. So now this creates a new step. I'm going to just fix that. So now this step is supposed to reference change type 4. So I need to tell you that it's referencing change type 4. Change type 4. That's what it's referencing. Okay. So what are the things it's I think I've changed program. The space. I don't need it to remove my okay, great. Well, it removed it again. I'll put it there back myself. So I'm going to call it a key column. And I'm going to merge, let's see, I'm going to merge country, but then the years and month are not, whoa, this is looking weird. You know what? I'm going to Control Z, Control Z everything. I think I copied the wrong thing. Let's leave this first. Come back here. Oh, I copied the wrong one. Yeah. So this is what I should have copied. This is the step where I added a new. This is the one I'm supposed to. This is where I added a new column. All right. So I go back here, and then I'm going to paste that here. All right. So change type 4. Okay. So that's what I have here. Change type 4. Then I'm going to tell it that for each text combine. Okay. So in this case, I need it to be date to text again. So this is going to be actually date to text. Dates to texts. Right? Then I have dates. And then I want it to show as I think it's year and month, right? So need it to show as year, 4 letters, and then month, 3 letters. So that way I don't need this anymore. And that's it. So I just tried to reuse, so you can reuse what you've done previously. Hopefully this should work as I expect. Let's go check the outcome. Okay, I think it's working as I expect. I hope the arrangement is as it should be. There's no country in this, right? Let's just go compare. So I'm having Nigeria 2018. Let's see. Nigeria 20. Okay, January. Okay, yeah. So the arrangement is as that one is. So I'm just going to again send it forward. Move to the beginning. And then I'm going to go to branch data, merge these two. So merge columns, custom. I see my time is almost up. So I will be faster now. So I'm going to call this key column. And okay. So I have this. I'm going to just move it to the beginning. I'm going to do likewise for sales, branch data to sales data. So add column, merge columns. Then I'm going to call this key column 2 because I have one before. And okay, and just move this to the beginning also. All right, so I think with this, I can now quickly do my relationships, right? So if you look at it, the relationships will be, just wait for it to load. Thank you. Thank you, Atebri. And I see Yusuf is asking for the link for the last session. David, I will let him know about that. Okay, so I hope in the next 5 minutes I should be able to complete it. So let's quickly do the relationships now. Uh, okay, some are already, it's already detecting some. Sales data to target data. So this is correct. Yes. Then I'm going to go back here. So I'm going to also tell you to do from date table to target. So dates, dates. I'm going to also tell you to do from branch table to sales data. So this to this. And is there, let's quickly take a look if anyone is offhand. So the way it should be that all these other tables are controlling. Okay, so this controls this one. Okay, great. I think I have all the relationships as I need. So can you see that? So let's pick a year. Okay, let's pick. That was really bad. I think for some reasons, particular, maybe the target is really much. Let me just check out the calculations underneath. Some, some. Okay, great. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to create a shape. Create a shape. Make it no fill. Make it thick outline. Then I'm going to just add a card inside, throw in total sales. So you get to see the total sales amount. Okay. Another one. Throw in the target. You get to see the target. I think the target and the sales amount are not matching. Okay, so I can go look it up. Is there something missing in the relationship? Dates to this. This. Okay. Anyway, then that's what it is. So this, then maybe I throw in a bar chart, show by products, and then show the sales amount. Okay. I throw in a map. Then, so I'm going to stop here anyway. But any questions? The key thing is you've seen all the transformations that I did, and those transformations were all in the Power Query. Every problem we faced, I went back to the Power Query, the quantity here, so we get to see by size. Actually, let me do this type of chart. So by size. Okay, good. So by size, I get to see different. So any questions? Any questions so far? Okay. No questions. That means you all got everything. That's interesting. All right. So again, the bulk of the work we did while learning how to use Power Query to create date table. So that's one key takeaway that I hope you will begin to apply in your work, and how to use it to also fix issues like we needed to extract you know, a country from a table, and all of this, which you also see again in the video when you watch after now. So I'm going to hand over back to Usam and sign
Thank you,
this up.
Michael. Very informative session. And thank you for keeping an eye on the chat, actually. Seeing the community engagements and questions, and I think we addressed everything here. Uh, and I look forward to having you again. I see that we have another one together in March about team collaboration. So again, for everyone who's here with us on this live session, the session is automatically recorded and it will be available to you straight after on our YouTube channel. So just look for the Microsoft Reactor if you're seeing this outside of YouTube. So subscribe and go to the meetup page, which I linked in the chat as well. This is the link to the following session. So every week we're gathering here at the same time to discuss different parts of the technology in this 8-part series. So you can continue the journey by attending these sessions, by reviewing the video later as well. And also we have a learn module that is also provided to you in the chat. So if you go to that module and review the examples there and any references that we provide after each session, that will help you, advance your knowledge in the topic that we have discussed. So this is a great place to take this learning journey forward. Again, thank you, Michael, for joining us today. It's been great having you, and looking forward to having you also again in the future, part of this series and also part of other Reactor sessions. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today here on the live. Stay tuned and don't miss on joining the next live session next week, same time. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.